All right, Kenman here. Today we have a fun unboxing of an interesting item that I found on Amazon. I actually opened this up and checked it out on the live stream the other night. I live stream on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Central Time. I also do some other live streams randomly throughout the week, but if you want a consistent one with some fun shenanigans and checking things out online and stuff, that is Thursday night, 6 p.m. Central. Anyway, we did already open this up on there, so that's why it's cracked on the back here. But let's get into it. I got myself an Oknife U1 Pro Utility Knife. SK5 steel micarta. Here it is. Check it out. Let's get in. Okay. So these are still available. I picked mine up on the Amazon Prime Days special for a few dollars off, which is nice. Box. Well, is there anything I want to see on there? No. On the floor. There's our little info. Also comes with this little mini tool pry bar, screwdriver, bottle opener. Looks like you could probably get in there and wrench a few smaller things if need be. A nice little small little extra treat. We'll put that aside for now. And Oknife U1 Pro. Here's your info. Oh, one more page. Boom. And let's check it out. Okay. Anybody else pick one of these up? This is a utility knife, so it is a razor blade on there. Not really my style. Packaging and stuff on the floor. Maybe I'll grab that. We might look at that in a second. But there are certain uses and times that this would be a nice thing. And since I review knives, EDC gear, stuff like that, I figured this would be good to check out on the channel. Let's soak it in, check it out. Oknife U1 Multi-Tool Pro. So, as it said on there, can't remember what the steel was, but it is a razor blade. So you can take that, there's a little screw right there, twist that the unlock direction, take your blade out, put a brand new blade in, screw that back down, and you're good to go. The Oknife UI Pro on that side. Again, it's got the little lock diagram there, but other than that, no real. Oh, there it does say Oknife on the clip. Clip cannot be swapped to the other side, so no lefty love there. It is a crossbar, so you got your crossbar lock right there. You pull down on both sides and the blade drops. There are thumb studs on there so you can thumb it out easily. Reverse flick, no problem. Nice looking micarta on there. Got that chalky right out of the box look. And as you can see, I'm touching it. It's already starting to kind of change colors and develop. I kind of like micarta like that, where it kind of wears in and turns into a nice, rich, kind of fun color. Plus, micarta feels good in the hand. I enjoy it. What are your favorite handle materials? Me personally, micarta and titanium are probably my favorites. Yeah, okay, so crossbar lock, closes, opens, easy. Boom. Oh, bouncy. Blade is centered in the middle there. No play at all. That's nice. And since this is a crossbar lock, it doesn't really have a detent. You're using the crossbar. You can see when I push it down, you can watch that pop over. So it's the spring of the crossbar lock is causing that pull in, the detent. Actually, it's pretty strong. Sometimes you can talk. That's a really well done, for an inexpensive item that's not even a real knife. That crossbar lock works great. Also, I have large hands, so as you can see when I'm doing this, maybe I need to zoom out a little bit here. When I do it, I kind of push it into the palm of my hand since I have such large hands. Some people's smaller hands are kind of sitting right there, so it's not an issue. But since I have large hands, I tend to do this and swing it down. And what happens if there is a blade that is long, it goes out kind of the extension of the handle. This one, you've got quite a bit of space there. There's that much space of handle that the blade swings is nowhere near. If that blade's close to the end and you go to close it like this, that part can catch your palm. I've done that with a few models here and there. So as a large-handed individual, I kind of pay attention to where that blade comes in, because if it's something where it is going to cut my hand, then it'll be less carried by me. If you don't have that large hand, that large palm, generally it might not ever even be an issue or concern for you, but something that I am always kind of aware of. So if you do have a larger hand, the fidget factor on this is super fun, flicky, fast. I caught my finger on the thumb stud there. I dig this. Looks like there's a captive pivot, which is cool. T6 screws on everything. Is that a 6 as well? No, that's an 8. All right, so T6 is on everything, but then a T8 on the pivot. Kind of a standard for most of the knives that we're kind of checking out. Okay, so before we keep going, there is another feature right here. We've got a button and a little notch. Get in that notch, and we have a screwdriver. Look at this little addition. So it's got swappable bit, comes with the Phillips and a flathead, but that is the universal smaller, my brain shut off, bit. Like the one that I've got on here is the larger width, right? But I use several different drivers. I always have a few of them. So this is that thinner size, and the thinner size fits in here. There is a magnet in there that helps hold it in place as well. But now I could throw my T8 bit on there, and we have basically a knife tool that would work good for making adjustments. This is a nice solid grip that you're going to get on there for that little tool. Not bad. Like I said, I have several different sizes that I use. So if you have any of the smaller bits with this size on it, that could be swapped. But this is also nice. You could use that as a little pry tool if needed, or if you have something that you need to use a little screwdriver for. And it's a button lock, so we can swing it shut. You can swing it open. It takes a little bit of, I think I gotta just gotta fully push that button in to catch it, but it does work. Let's try it with the left hand. There it is. So you can swing open, swing it closed. Can I? Ha! You saw it here first. I fully launched the good thing I didn't dent anything. Let's try that again. Okay, so with the reverse flick, it can be done, but it's too much power for the magnet. Let's do that one more time. We've learned something here. If you want to launch these bits and you have a good reverse flick, it would have to be a lefty, I guess. You can't do it with the right because it's on this side here. Can I thumb it out? It's not really designed for that. Kind of a slow roll or the swing out. But now we know if you really want to send that bit flying across the room. Let's do it one more time. There it went. That's kind of funny. Good to know. All right. So that magnet, that one kind of caught me right. Okay. Continue. We're doing a review here. That is fun stuff though. So that is a great, there's many of these that don't have that feature. So if you're looking for a utility knife, I would say the main use for something like this would be if you're cutting wires or nasty thick tape or something all day long, then the razor blade might be your way to go. Wires, metal, things like that you're going to catch staples or whatever, it could damage your blade. And with the razor blade feature, the utility, then you just throw that blade away, put a new one on. That might be a really useful tool for, depending on the situations. If you're like an electrician or something, I would probably definitely carry one of these, but I'm also going to carry a regular knife too. All right, let's break it down. What am I missing here? There are a few jimps. They are really mild, I would say. I can feel them there, but they're not super deep or kind of grippy. You can just kind of feel them, but they don't really slow your thumb down from sliding. Index finger out there, you can kind of push on that lock that kind of gives it kind of a little bit of a leverage for getting in there to do some work. This is not large, but the handle is pretty big. You can hold onto it back there. It's kind of a 3-finger grab, but you can also choke up into that spot, kind of lock your middle finger right there and set the index on that section. It feels good in the hand. There are some jimps on the micarta on the back right there. I can feel that. That's a good grip, plus that little raised up section kind of helps kind of lock it in from sliding out of your hand. I think they could have put some more jimps up there though. That would have been nice. But you know me, I like a lot of jimps. Okay. Five 5 7/8 end to end. The blade 2 1/4, 2.5 angle to angle, but you're basically looking at 2 1/4, and you have a 2-inch cutting surface that stops right there with a obvious straight razor blade. And 3 5/8 on the handle. Definitely a smaller offering here, but I think depending on what you're doing, this might be a really good tool to have. I'm a knife guy, so it's not something that I would usually carry, but if I was doing something where I've got wires or some nasty work, this is something to consider. 0.1 on the thickness there. Of course, that carries all the way out to this because it's a holder, so that holder doesn't really taper since it's a razor blade going in there. Handle 0.43, thickest part right here, 1.09 in the middle, 8.6, and then the thick part of the blade, 0.84. Will she ever die? I don't think so. I think that battery is going to flash for another 5 years, and we're never going to need to change it. Maybe it's a battery saving feature. It flashes so that it's not on constantly. It lasts twice as long that way, right? I don't know. 2.82. Nice little weight on there. I compare everything with Kaiser Drop Bear 3.29. 2.82. This is something I would carry over the top of that instead of that. 2.5 QSP Mini Penguin. We'll look at that in a second. I have purchased something like this before, the old Milwaukee Fastback 4.043. So 282. I think as far as utility knives go, I did check out the Riot Gravity one. That one was pretty cool. But other than that, some of these, this one I actually kind of like it. Kaiser Drop Bear is a great EDC, bug out killer, pyrite size, good, not quite full size user. Here's the jumps we're talking about. So we got a 1/2 inch shorter on the handle, maybe 1/2 to 3/4 inch on the blade. If you're looking for a daily carry like user, Drop Bears are great. This is the QSP Mini Penguin with that razor sheep's foot blade, M390 and titanium on here. Super cool. This is something that I would have in a 5th pocket that I would carry for making those smaller cuts or whatever. But again, if I was cutting metal wires and stuff, I probably wouldn't want to use this. So ultimately, might come into handy, but it's fairly similar in size. Blade's about the same. Handle's a little shorter on the QSP. Here's the Milwaukee Fastback, also a button actuated, so you can button swing that out, razor blade on there. When it's closed, you can use the cutter inside of there. I believe you can, I guess not. It's definitely just like the Fastback swing out. But Fastback here, blade looks like the handle and the blade is exactly the same size, or the handle, the grabber part of the razor. This section. Obviously the handle is about an inch larger there on that Fastback though. I would say between the two, the Oknife though. This is pretty cool. Well, we'll do a paper cut test. I mean, it is a razor blade, so I can imagine we're gonna get thin curly cues with a razor all day long, obviously. And then if it goes dull, do you need to sharpen it? No, just pop that thing off, throw a new blade on. This might be a good user for some of you out there, depending on what it is that you do. Plus, you get that extra little multi-tool, which is kind of a nice little feature to have. Easy little thing to throw in a pocket or in a bag for just those little emergencies. What do we think? Boom, boom. Great action on this. Fidget factor is high. Plus, you've got that swing out screwdriver or bit driver for whatever bits you could carry along, a little pouch with some bits and have those as well. And then, man, your capabilities with this are actually pretty good. Nice stuff. The Oknife U1 Pro multi-tool folding utility knife with folding screwdriver, quick change blade, rail lock, pocket clip for men and women with green micarta. You can also get a few different ones. They have like a sprinkly donut version and a couple others. So check them out if you're interested. I did pick this up on Amazon. I can put a link down in the description. Yeah, Oknife. Stay sharp. We'll see you soon.